Let's face it, we've all got way too many video games that will never see the light of day. Instead of letting them rot on the shelves, clog up your hard drives, and haunt you with guilt for all eternity, allow me to ease the burden. Should you backlog or bust? Thankfully for everyone's sake, I won't have to brush up on my high school Chinese. We're taking a journey to the west alongside a colorful cast of unruly heroes. While there's no shortage of excellent 2D platformers on the Switch, few are as jaw-droppingly gorgeous as Unruly Heroes. The game certainly puts its best foot forward with its painterly backdrops and lovingly animated characters. From the frozen countryside to the lush jungles, the team at Magic Design Studios really captured the atmosphere of this mythical depiction of China. I'm not too familiar with the source material, but obvious care was put into portraying Wukong the Monkey King and his companions on their grand adventure. The four titular heroes each have distinct movesets, from Sanzong's mid-air glide and aerial combos to Sandmonk's double jump and hard-hitting strikes. Not only do they each feel different in combat, the four also possess unique powers that aid in puzzle solving, like Wukong's spirit staff to cross gaps and Qi Hong's ability to float like a balloon. This adds a lot of flavor and diversity to each level where you can freely switch characters at any time to suit the situation. The game also supports up to 4-player co-op, similar to other modern 2D platformers like New Super Mario Bros., where you can save your lost friends in a pinch by popping their respawn bubble. I didn't get the chance to play locally, but I imagine this game would be even more fun with a buddy to cover one another's weaknesses instead of needing to swap quite so often. While the puzzle elements were never too tasking, most only requiring a few steps and a bit of observation, they were a welcome addition to the running and jumping. The combat, on the other hand, wasn't quite as appreciated. Most platformer enemies are simple moving obstacles for the player to approach similarly to the platforms they need to traverse, while here the game grinds to a halt while you mindlessly smack around waves of baddies that have far too much health to be any fun to fight. Just by looks alone, some of you may have noticed the striking similarities of this game to Rayman Origins and Legends, and to no surprise, the design team on Unruly consists of a lot of Ubisoft and UbiArt developers who worked on those games. I absolutely adore Rayman Legends, and both it and Unruly Heroes do an incredible job of translating the hand-drawn look of its characters and world, but something just feels off when playing Unruly. I couldn't quite put my finger on it while playing, but I just wasn't having that much fun. Despite my love for the genre, how intrigued I was to see more beautiful settings, and the steady stream of new game mechanics, I wasn't compelled to continue playing. So I booted up Legends, and immediately felt at home. I was dashing through castles and climbing cakes and having the time of my life. Pretty soon an hour and a half had already passed without even noticing. Now I could see that not only had Unruly Heroes stretched itself too thin with gimmicks, but even the basic controls lacked polish. Now I can't break down the frame data to pinpoint exactly what's at fault here, but just comparing side by side, Rayman has this beautiful sense of flow. Running through a level in Legends is like a dance, and everything from jumping to swinging an axe maintains your momentum, and there's just enough floatiness to correct your trajectory. Although you can run through the levels very quickly, there's always an inarguable sense of control and precision with each input, and the level design gives you plenty of time to react. It all culminates in platforming feeling so effortless. You quickly enter this zen-like state while playing, and everything clicks. This is best represented by the insanely fun and memorable musical stages where your actions sync to the rhythm. In Unruly, I felt as if everything was just a microsecond delayed. I'd never quite felt completely in control. The characters just kinda jerk forwards, and being forced to adjust to each character's jump height can be super jarring. And by the time I would have entered that flow of platforming, I was stopped dead in my tracks to fight a crowd of lizards or watch a slow animation of my staff extending to cross a gap. Yeah, that's the whole puzzle. Superficially, everything's here to make a really solid, colorful platformer. There's even the same kinds of slightly obscured secret areas and unlockable costumes that I love to collect in Rayman, but it's all in service of a game that constantly feels uneasy and uncomfortable in its own skin. For example, there are all these one-off levels where you body-possess enemies for unique puzzle situations, like this wolf commander who can throw spears at targets and recruit other wolves to step on switches and throw spears alongside you, and it becomes this whole escort mission. It was a really cool mechanic that just never shows up again. The other times you're like a giant pus-ridden spider monstrosity that moves painfully slow and can only climb up walls. This level was miserable because you're just a big slow target that can barely deal with the enemies, and there's just so much waiting around for walls to spin or lasers to stop. The exact opposite of the fast and free-flowing movement of Rayman. And sure, the game's not trying to be Rayman, but when it is, it's also terrible. These auto-scrolling levels are actually a blast because they're fast, visually interesting, and give you plenty of time to react with generous checkpoints to not get stuck doing the same sections over again. Here, there's this fish chasing me, but the gimmick is that I have to suck up this smoke with ZL, but also while I'm moving. So I can't see where I'm going, and I don't immediately know what kinds of hazards will come at me when I use my vacuum. Oh, and there's dead ends with collectibles. Have fun, try again. There are multiple auto-scrollers in this game that are made intentionally annoying with dumb traps and tight windows of success that you have to keep doing over and over. Oh, the swamp level. Oh, the swamp level. Perhaps the most infuriating auto-scroller I've ever completed. First of all, you move like half a mile an hour down this river. And get used to seeing this river, buddy. If you touch the water or any of these spikes, you're instantly dead, start over, even if you have other heroes available. And like, these are the kinds of moments where playing multiplayer would have been a huge benefit, and a reason why I suspect this game was mostly designed for 2 players. But regardless, you'll constantly wish this log would go faster so you could avoid the rip-off clap traps and the swinging spike balls, but then you'll wish you had more time to destroy the buzzsaws that will cut your logs to smithereens and force you into the drink. There's even physics on the log, so don't be tempted to do your down smash or you're also toast. So 3 buzzsaws and over 1.5 minutes of flawless platforming later to finish this section. Yikes. There's just too much trial and error, too many gimmicks that aren't nearly as fun as the game insists, and too much start and stop to get into fights or change characters. The game just doesn't seem confident in any aspect and is overcompensating with too many ideas. I found myself shouting, please be better, because the concepts would be so inventive, but the execution would range from slightly off mark to aggravating. Rarely do I persevere so strongly for a game I actively enjoy so little. Because I truly wanted to love Unruly Heroes. I wanted to make a video singing the praises for another hidden gem, another gorgeous game to display alongside the pantheon of 2D platforming greats, but unfortunately it continually let me down.
Hot damn, Heroes! That was amazing!
The writing wasn't funny, the voice acting was amateur at best, and even the loading screens were a slog. I thought this interactive band was a cute idea, but good luck making it sound remotely good. It's so stuttery and delayed anyway. I have to imagine this game is twice as fun to play if you can wrangle a friend to couch co-op with you, but as a single-player adventure, I have to give it a hard pass. If anything, playing it makes me a little sad because it's got a lot of heart and good ideas, but needs 1,000 little tweaks to make it all work. For these reasons, Unruly Heroes is a bust, and I give you full permission to skip this one, especially if you have other platformers to get around to. I guess the writing was on the wall, and these heroes were just too unruly to succeed. Stick around to see what game I tackle from my backlog next week, but in the meantime, remember to keep it clean out there, and I'll see you in the next one.